everybody, I'm Richard Holdner and welcome to the channel. The new Truck Norris cam from Brian Tooley Racing. How does it stack up against their other truck cams? In this video, we're going to compare the new Truck Norris cam from Brian Tooley Racing to the factory 5.3 liter cam and then to the stages 1, 2, 3, and 4 truck cams, and what the heck, we're going to throw in the torque cam just for good measure. So after running the first installment of the Truck Norris cam test, where we compared the Truck Norris cam and that Sloppy Best cam, I got a lot of questions about people, well, this is great, and we see the Truck Norris cam, it obviously does fairly well, but how does it compare to the other truck cams that Brian Tooley Racing had been selling, the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4, and also the torque cam. I included a little bit of that in the previous video, but guys obviously want more and more information. They want to know how it compares, especially to some of the bigger truck cams. So we're going to take a look at that and see, and obviously these are all truck cams, but a lot of guys use them in non-truck applications, because let's face it, when I show you the power curve, and you can use that power curve. It doesn't have to be in a truck. It can also be in a car or a plane or a submarine or whatever you want to use it in. So let's jump right in. This is actually information that was provided by the guys at Brian Tooley Racing. They ran it on their Gen 3 motor and the Gen 4 motor. This is the Gen 4 5.3 liter. It was originally a DOD motor, and what they did was replace the DOD cam. They got rid of the DOD lobes, and basically they have a DOD delete cam. What it does is make almost the same power as a factory LM7 camshaft. So this is a 5.3. It was a Gen 4 motor. It had 243 heads on it. I think that this thing also had a Trailblazer SS intake manifold on it. And it had a set of 1 3/4 long tube headers with a full exhaust. So run in this manner, with the stock camshaft, this 5.3 produced 357 horsepower and 380 foot-pounds of torque, 380.5. So we'll take a look at some of the camshaft comparisons, and then we'll start off, and then we'll jump over to all of the truck cams. So this is our first camshaft is the torque cam, and you could see that it did a lot better than the factory cam. The peak power went from 357 up to 395, so good power gains, and the nice thing is it seemed to gain power everywhere. At least they loaded this one at 2300 or so, and it was making as much as the stock cam down there. It had good gains down low, which guys, especially on truck applications, would definitely like, and this is a good combination. Here is now the we'll put this in comparison to a stage 1 truck cam, because this is actually an interesting comparison. So the green is the stage 1 truck cam. It makes a little bit less power than the torque cam does down low, and having tested that at West Tech on my 5.3, I saw exactly the same thing. The torque cam is better down low, but the interesting thing is on their test, they didn't show that the stage 1 truck cam made much more power than the torque cam at the top of the RPM range, and when I tested it, I did. The stage 1 truck cam was clearly better than the torque cam at the top, and made less down low, which is kind of exactly what you would expect. But so these are the three cams, the stock cam, stage 1, and the torque cam on a 5.3, basically a 5.3 with headers and valve springs on it. But here's how all of these compare to the Truck Norris cam. Truck Norris cam is in red. It naturally makes a lot more peak power, which is kind of what we would expect. It's up to 408 horsepower, I think 409, so 408.9 horsepower. It had the most peak torque. It had 400 foot-pounds, 400.8, so we can call that 401. It made more torque down low compared to everything, and it vacillated a little bit with a torque cam, about 2,800 or so, but was as good or better than the torque cam even down low, and basically a lot better all the way through the curve. So if you were choosing between any of these cams and you're getting a new camshaft, I don't know that I would replace the torque cam with the Truck Norris cam unless you're looking for a little bit more. But if I was going in and getting a camshaft and thinking about any of these three camshafts, I think I would definitely lean toward the Truck Norris. So now let's see how it compares to some of the bigger truck cams. So now we'll take a look and see how the now famous Truck Norris cam stacks up against the other stage 1, 2, 3, and 4 truck cams offered previously by Brian Tooley Racing. So this is our stock motor, our 5.3 with the headers on it, and valve springs obviously with our DOD delete camshaft. Here are the results for the Truck Norris cam. and then we'll go over these one at a time so that there aren't a whole bunch of lines up here and it kind of gets confusing. So the blue is stock and the red is Truck Norris, and we're going to introduce one. This is the Stage 1 truck cam. So we can see the Truck Norris cam obviously quite a bit better. The Stage 1 truck cam much better than the stock cam. So in the case of the Stage 1, we went from 356 or 357 up to 397, but then the Truck Norris cam did that obviously even better, 409 horsepower. Peak torque was up as well. Peak torque on the Stage 1, 391 foot-pounds. Peak torque on the Truck Norris cam, 401 foot-pounds. And then for the stock cam, 381. So you can see it's pretty obvious from this curve that, and notice also that the Truck Norris cam is better than the Stage 1 cam everywhere, from top to bottom. So that gives you a pretty good idea of which one of those you would want to choose if you're going in and want to choose one of these camshafts. Now, the question is that enough reason to change the camshaft? Maybe, maybe not. But then the question is, okay, Richard, yeah, that's the Stage 1 truck cam. What about the Stage 2? Well, let's take a look at that. Here is the Stage 2 truck cam, and interestingly enough, there's still not really a comparison. The Stage 2 truck cam makes very comparable peak power to the Truck Norris cam. In this case, the peak power was 404, still down to the 409 horsepower, but not by a ton. Peak torque on the Stage 2 was 391 versus 401 on the Truck Norris cam. And the Truck Norris cam is better, as we would expect as we go up in these bigger truck cams. The Truck Norris cam is better down low and through the entire curve. So if you're considering a Stage 2 cam thinking, I'm going to make a lot more power out at the top than the Truck Norris cam, that's probably not going to happen. So, but surely the Stage 3 truck cam is going to be better. So let's take a look at that. And the Stage 3 truck cam, oddly enough, only makes one or so, I mean, kind of the same power here, maybe a little bit more, 408 and change for the Stage 3 truck cam, but is down basically everywhere else compared to the Truck Norris cam. I guess they did a lot of homework on this Truck Norris cam, because now it's bettering the Stage 1 and Stage 2 truck cams at the top, and it's a lot better down low, and it makes as much power, it looks like, than the Stage 3 truck cam, and makes a lot better power down low. So that's obviously a good combination. Let's see if we can finally surpass this thing with the Stage 4 truck cam. So the Stage 4 truck cam did indeed make more power than the Truck Norris cam. The Stage 4 truck cam was up to 417 horsepower on this 5.3. But as you can see, the Truck Norris cam made more power, up to 5,600, than the Stage 4. So if you're wanting to rev the thing out, and I think if we continued to rev these out, and it looked like maybe they were running into a little valve control issue there at 62 or 6,300 with the Stage 4 truck cam, which seems odd. But if you were to rev it more and a bigger cam like the Stage 4 truck cam, and I'll go ahead and make sure that I put up the specs on all of the camshafts. We'll go back and edit those in, but so you guys can kind of see what the difference is. But the Stage 4 truck cam, more on the big end, but less basically everywhere else. And for a truck guy, unless you're really wanting the chop, I think that the Truck Norris cam ultimately might be a better combination. But that's for you guys to decide. Let's get to our conclusion. Okay, guys, what's the takeaway in this big shootout between the new Truck Norris cam and all the different Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3, and Stage 4 truck cams, and then also the torque cam compared to the stock cam on the 5.3 liter? Well, for me, here's the takeaway. Obviously, we see that whatever they did to the design of the Truck Norris cam, all their top secret wizardry stuff, it obviously worked out. It is making good power. It's making top end equivalent to bigger cams and bottom end equivalent to smaller cams. So they have a really good combination. And so that's probably why the Truck Norris cam is as popular as it is. But the other side of that, the flip side of that, is I wanted to talk about, and we mentioned this a little bit in the video, like when we're comparing the Truck Norris cam to a Stage 1 truck cam or to the torque cam, you have to decide, if a guy is choosing a cam and you don't have one and you want to go in and buy a camshaft, there's little to choose from. I would get that camshaft. I would get the Truck Norris cam over some of those others because it has better average power production and it does all those things. But if I'm a guy that already has a torque cam or a stage 1 truck cam, do I really want to, or do I really need to upgrade to the Truck Norris cam to make myself feel better? Because here's the thing. If we're looking at a difference of 5 or 6 foot-pounds of torque, when you have that in the vehicle, other than having a guy like me show you on a dyno graph that one did that and the other one didn't do that, you might not notice that in the vehicle. You might not be able to feel that. In fact, you might not even be getting that, because let's face it, if you don't have your tune optimized the way that we do on the engine dyno, you're not going to get either one of those power levels, because you don't have if you have it tuned so it runs effectively on 87 octane all the time, you're not getting the maximum power out of it. So the only thing you get to do when you upgrade from the stage 1 truck cam to the Truck Norris cam, you may get a little bit of more power somewhere, but since you have such a mild state of tune in it, all you really can do is brag that you have the good cam that Richard showed you worked best, even though you're probably not getting that kind of performance. So that's something to consider. Is it really worth it upgrading to that camshaft when you already have something that's pretty good? Should you go to something that's really better, but arguably not maybe enough better to justify what it takes to do a cam swap in the vehicle? Like on the engine dyno, we can do those like in a half an hour, so it's no big deal. But in the vehicle, that's a different story. Armature holder, make sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that stuff, and I will keep on testing.